Dracula Chapter 3 Recap, brought to you by the Timeless Library. Chapter 3 Dracula begins not with mystery but with clarity. Jonathan Harker is a prisoner. Gone is the polite confusion of Chapter 2. Now there's only fear, and the slow, suffocating realization that Count Dracula is not just dangerous, but methodical. Every conversation, every restriction, every eerie kindness, it's all part of something bigger. This chapter shows the Count tightening his grip on Jonathan's identity, sanity, and soul, until finally, Jonathan comes face to face with something even worse than Dracula himself, the vampire brides. Early in the chapter, Jonathan begins in a panic. He rushes through the castle, testing doors, windows, staircases. Every exit is sealed. He's not a guest anymore. He's prey in a cage. But after the adrenaline wears off, Harker regains his wits. He knows he must act as if everything is fine, even as the Count manipulates his every move. He knows I am imprisoned, Jonathan writes, but worse, he has his own motives. That's when the small things start adding up. Dracula making the bed, Dracula setting the table, Dracula driving the coach. There are no servants, no staff, no witnesses. Jonathan finally connects the dots. Everything that has happened, from the crucifix and garlic given to him by locals to the silent wolves obeying Dracula's hand, it all points to something ancient and terrifying. Later that night, Dracula returns and opens up to Jonathan about his ancestry. What starts as a conversation about Transylvanian history turns into a dark monologue. Dracula speaks of the Zekels, of battles, empires, and betrayals. He talks like a man who was there. Not just proud of his heritage, he identifies with it. Even uses we as if the centuries of warriors lived through him. He rants about Attila the Hun, the Turks, the shame of Kosovo, the rise and fall of empires. The passion in his voice, the violent energy in his movements, it's unnerving. He seems almost immortal. And maybe he is. The next night, Dracula turns from warrior to businessman. He peppers Jonathan with highly specific legal questions about shipping, solicitors, how to split business responsibilities in England. It's not small talk. He's planning something, preparing for a future in London. Then he demands Jonathan write letters home, dated a month ahead, claiming everything is fine. When Jonathan hesitates, Dracula reminds him, "You are staying a month. It's not a request." And just in case there's any thought of escape, Dracula issues a chilling warning. Do not sleep outside your room. The castle holds bad dreams. He finished the warning with a motion like washing his hands, a silent threat that if Jonathan disobeys, his fate is sealed. Later, restless and desperate for fresh air, Jonathan explores a neglected wing of the castle. He finds an old room, once beautiful, now cloaked in moonlight and dust. It's oddly peaceful until he drifts off to sleep. What follows is one of the most famous and disturbing scenes in the book. Jonathan wakes, or thinks he wakes, to find three women standing before him, pale, elegant, erotic, and terrifying. Their beauty is unnatural. Their presence is dreamlike. They whisper, laugh, and argue over who gets to kiss him first. One kneels, her lips nearing his throat. Jonathan is frozen in dread and desire. And then Dracula bursts in, furious, demonic, possessive. How dare you touch him? This man belongs to me. He hurls the fair bride aside, commanding them back like the wolves. They laugh in response, a soulless, echoing laugh. But Dracula isn't done. He promises, when I am done with him, you may kiss him at your will. Then he tosses a bag to the woman. It squirms and makes a sound, a child's wail. Jonathan watches in horror as the brides vanish, fading into the moonlight like shadow, and he collapses. Themes and analysis. Imprisonment becomes psychological. Jonathan is not just locked in, he's being erased. His voice, his identity, even his letters are controlled. Duality of seduction and horror. The bride's scene mixes lust with death. Stoker's Victorian audience would have felt as uneasy as Jonathan does. Dracula's ultimate plan begins to reveal itself. He's preparing to infiltrate England, erase Jonathan, and bring ancient evil into the modern world. By the end of Chapter 3, we see two things for sure. Jonathan Harker will not be leaving this castle easily. Dracula is not working alone. The Count doesn't just feed, he manipulates, possesses, and waits. And now that Jonathan has seen what's really inside the castle, it may already be too late for him. Listen to the full Dracula audiobook on our channel. Bonus content, guest readings, and more at patreon.com/timelesslibrarypodcast.